ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते
नमो भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम
ओम नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
संचरद मद। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय
जय
राधा
राधा
माधव
माधव कुंज
कुंज बिहारी।
बिहारी।
गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी।
गोपीजन
जय गोपीजन
वल्लभ
वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जन।
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जन।
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जन।
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जन।
यमुनातीर वनचारी।
यमुनातीरा
यमुनातीरावनचारि।
वनचारी।
यमुनातीर वनचारी।
यमुनातीरावनचारि।
वनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज
कुञ्ज
बिहारी।
बिहारी।
गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपीजन
गोपीजन
वल्लभ
वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
गिरधारी।
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जन।
यशोदानन्दन
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जन।
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जन।
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जन।
यमुनातीर वनचारी।
यमुनातीरावनचारी।
यमुनातीर वनचारी।
वनचारि।
यमुनातीरावनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय
जय
राधा माधव
राधा
कुंज
कुञ्ज
बिहारी।
बिहारी।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे
हरे
हरे।
हरे।
हरे
हरे राम
राम हरे
हरे
राम राम
राम
राम
राम
हरे
हरे
हरे।
हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे
हरे कृष्णा
कृष्ण हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्णा
कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे हरे।
हरे हरे। हरे
हरे
राम
राम
हरे
हरे
राम
राम राम
राम
राम
राम हरे
हरे हरे।
हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम
हरे राम
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 राम हरे
जय राधा गोविंद, राधा गोविंद, राधा गोविंद, श्री राधे।
जय राधा गोविंद, राधा गोविंद,
गोविंद
राधा
राधा
गोविंद
गोविंद
श्री
श्री
राधे।
राधे
जय निताय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि, जय निताय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि।
जय नित्य सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि, नित्य सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि।
जय प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपदा।
जय प्रभुपादा, जय प्रभुपादा, जय प्रभुपादा, जय प्रभुपादा।
हरि बोल,
हरि
हरि
बोल।
बोल, हरि बोल, नित्य गौरा हरि बोल, नित्य
नित्य
गौरा
गौर
हरि
हरि
बोल,
बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल।
हरि
हरि
बोल,
बोल
जय
नित्य
गौर
गौरा
हरि।
हरि
हरि बोल
बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद श्री वांगे श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की,
जय
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की,
जय
नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की,
जय
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की,
जय
जय
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की,
जय
जय
वृंदावन धाम की,
जय
जय
मथुरा धाम की,
जय
जय
गंगा माई की,
जय
यमुना माई की,
जय
जय
तुलसी देवी की,
जय
जय
भक्ति देवी की,
जय
जय
सामवेद भक्त वृंद की,
जय।
जय
all glories to the assembled devotees,
हरे
हरे
कृष्णा।
कृष्ण
all glories to the assembled devotees,
हरे
हरे
कृष्णा।
all glories to the assembled devotees,
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण।
all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschate Deshatarine Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu Krishne Matirastu Hare Krishna.
हरे
हरे
कृष्णा।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम
ओम
नमो भगवते
नमो भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम
ओम
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
देवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो
ओम
भगवते
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
So today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 14, which is the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, or the three modes of material nature. We'll do text 11 to 15. So as I mentioned in the beginning, it looks like we somehow
Prabhu, it
did
says
not.
in your message here that 16th April 26 we did 14, 11 to 15.
Yes. So what happened, I think, was uh, I mentioned that, but somehow when we actually did the session, we did 16 to 20.
Okay,
And
interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And when
You
I,
heard the recording, did you?
yes, yes, yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, and I was actually like, when we were nearly the ending stage, I was actually thinking, what is this? I did not actually send the summary of this. What am I like? But then I think we were nearly at the end as well. But then again,
Okay,
when I was sending the summary today, I just thought, yeah, that's what happened basically. But that's
interesting.
fine.
Yeah.
We'll go from 11 to 15 today, and
Okay,
then 16 to 20 is done. So the next session will be 21 to 25.
okay, okay.
Uh, so verse 11, we'll just read this. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin
सर्वद्वारेषु देहेष्मिन्
prakasha upajayate
प्रकाश उपजायते।
jnanam yada tada vidyat
ज्ञानं
यदा
ध्यानं
तदा
तदा विद्यात्
vivruddham sattvamiti yuta.
विवृद्धं
विवृद्धं सत्त्वमिति उत।
Word by word, sarvadvareshu,
सर्वद्वारेषु,
सर्वद्वारेषु
in all the gates.
in all the
in all
gates,
the
Dehe asmin,
Dehe
Dehe
asmin.
asmin.
in this body.
In this body.
Prakashah,
Prakashah.
the quality of illumination.
The quality
The
of
quality of
illumination.
illumination.
Upajayate,
Upajayate.
Upajayate.
develops.
Develops.
Develop.
Jnanam,
Jnanam.
Jnanam.
knowledge.
Knowledge.
Yada,
Yada.
Yada.
when.
When.
Tada,
Tada.
Tada.
at that time.
At that
At that
time.
time.
Vidyat,
Vidyat.
Vidyat.
no.
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 Vivriddham,
Vivriddham.
increased.
Increased.
Increase.
Sattvam,
Sattvam.
Sattvam.
the mode of goodness.
The
The
mode
mode
of goodness.
Iti uta,
Iti
Iti
uta.
uta.
thus it is said.
Thus it
That
is said.
is said.
Translation: the manifestation of the modes of goodness
The manifestation of the
Modes
mode
of
of
goodness
goodness
can be experienced
can be
can be
experienced
experienced
when all the gates
when
when
all
all
the
the
gates
gates
of the body
of the
of
body
the body
are illuminated
are
are
illuminated
illuminated
by knowledge.
by knowledge.
by knowledge.
So here the dwara, the dwara is navadware pure dehi. Naivam kuryan nakarayan. So there is a particular verse in Bhagavad-Gita where Krishna says that the person who is there within the house of nine doors. So the nine doors is an interesting example. So it's the way through which we are getting our information. That is what is called the door. So generally, if we look at our home, what is happening through the door? There can be people who can come in, we can go out, and all these interactions can happen when the door is open. When the door is closed, no interactions can happen. You have to open the door. So in exactly the same way, the doors here, dwara is Navadware it is called. The nine openings in that sense. So you got the eyes, the two openings of the eyes, 2, 4, 6, the two nose, the tongue, and then the excretory aspects. So they're called the Navadware Pure Dehi Naivam Kuryan Na Karayan. That is a beautiful verse. So basically, what Krishna says in that verse is that the person, the Dehi is who we are. We are not the Deha. Deha is the body. Dehi is a person who is actually the proprietor of the body. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe. The asmin dehe. Within the body, there is Dehi, the proprietor of the body. And that we are. We are actually the proprietors of this instrument that we have. The instrument that is gross, the body instrument that is gross, and the subtle instrument that is the mind, intelligence, and false ego. So the challenge that we have when we take birth in this material world is we think that this is the only existence, that the body is the only existence, or someone can go a little bit more subtler and they can think about mind and intelligence also. For example, the field of psychology. Psychology very clearly is a field of studying the mind. If someone has got some mental disturbances, they will go to the psychiatrist, for example, and try and get consultation from them. So we have acknowledgement that the mind exists, that there are thoughts that are going on. We have acknowledgement that this body exists, that is gross. No one can deny. Like I am, the body is something that is evident. Like I know, like except for the time when I'm in deep sleep. In deep sleep, we totally lose contact with everything. Except that time, all the other time, no, even dream, I think. In dream also, we actually forget about our body. But in dream, what happens is the mind itself creates everything. The mind becomes the world. The mind becomes us. the mind becomes all the characters that we see in the dream. So the mind actually creates the whole ecosystem of our dream. Then when we wake up, deep sleep, the mind is also gone to sleep. That is deep sleep. That's why if people are not getting proper deep sleep, they will not feel good. Why? Because the mind did not get the rest. Because the mind is constantly, like the moment we wake up, the mind is at work. It's constantly thinking about what I have to do the next, the planning. It is also constantly thinking about what happened yesterday, what happened day before yesterday, what happened last month or last year or whatever. There's so much memory. So you got memory, you got planning for the future, and then in the present moment, when I'm looking at anything, say for example, this mouse, I look at this mouse. Actually, when I look at this, it is an object which does something, but the mind will give interpretation to it, right? It will actually say that it looks like this. It is made by some company. It works in this way. There is so much dialogue that is going on within us, and that is a chatter, a constant chatter, and that is what from the time we wake up, this chatter starts, and it probably stops a little bit during the dream, because dream is a state where mind is making all the things up, basing on whatever we have witnessed in the daytime and whatever our thoughts were. And then deep sleep, the mind has gone to sleep, and then morning again. So this is like, so you got the three different states. It's called Jagrita, waking, Sushupti, Swapna and Sushupti. Swapna is dream and Sushupti is deep sleep. And then the Vedas talk about, there is a fourth state. It's called Turiya. Turiya. The fourth state is a state that is consciousness, pure consciousness. So that state is fundamental to our existence. Like if the consciousness goes out of my body, there is no use of this body. There's Navadwara that is mentioned, the nine different doors. They have no value. When there is consciousness, the doors have value, and there is some information that I absorb through these. I can see something and I get some knowledge out of it. I hear something, I taste something, I smell something. All these different aspects. So here in this particular verse, Krishna is mentioning about Sarva Dwareshu Dehe Asmin. So Dehe Asmin, within the body, all the dwaras. What are all the dwaras? The two eyes, the two nose, nostrils, the ears, tongue, and the excretory organs. So the Sarva Dwareshu Dehe Asmin Prakasha Upajayate. Upajayate means comes into, that gets created, that takes the birth. And Prakasha means illumination. So this is what is Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. There is a verse that is glorifying Guru. And it says that, "O Gurudev, you have anointed my eyes with the salve of love of the Lord and with the salve of the knowledge, because of which I am coming out of the state of ignorance." An example that we can give is today's day, for example. The sun is out, it's very bright, and everything is illuminated very nicely, and there is some heat as well coming from the sun, which is rare for this part of the world. So basically, the whole environment becomes really brightened, illuminated, and there is a good bit of satisfaction and happiness. Exactly in the same way, when the dwaras, when there is sattva within us, when there is mode of goodness, there is peacefulness and satisfaction. Like one is not running after things. In the Rajoguna, and we'll discuss this in the subsequent verses, Krishna will talk about the Rajoguna, the mode of passion, and Tamoguna, the mode of ignorance. So Krishna is talking about these modes in different perspectives in these verses. And then in the last session, when we did 16 to 20 instead of doing 11 to 15, Krishna was mentioning about Sattvat Sanjayate Jnanam. That when there is Sattva, there is Jnana, the knowledge. So here, Jnanam Yada Tada tada vidyat. So if you look at the third line in this verse, Krishna talks about jnanam. So adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam etad jnanam iti proktam yadato ajnanam anyatha. In one of the verses in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says that what he considers as real knowledge. The real knowledge is adhyatma jnana, the knowledge of the subject. The subject is we as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. Everything else is an object. It's an objective world, as we say. So, for example, the body is an object because I can see the body. And one of the examples that we always give is whatever I can see, that I am not. Like if I see the mouse, I'm not the mouse. If I see this, I'm not. If I see my body, that means I'm not the body. So I am the seer. So that is subject. That we are. So we are the consciousness. We are the awareness. And this consciousness awareness is eternal. Satchid Ananda. That is the basis of the awareness and consciousness. It is eternally existing. It is eternally conscious, and it is eternally blissful. This is what we are. Everything else is external. Like the thing that is happening through the dwara, Navadwara, is something that is being experienced by my mind and my body. It is not me as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. So this understanding is extremely important. And when one has got inclination to engage in this understanding, that is mode of goodness. So in that mode, one knows that, at least theoretically, one knows that this is an instrument, the instrument that the Lord has given to me. And who am I? I am an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. I am never born and I will never die. Because I am never born, I will never die. I cannot have any disease. I cannot have old age. So who is going through this? It is ahankara vimodhatma karta hamiti manyate. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. Ya pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sa pashyati. Krishna says that all the work is being done by the modes of material nature. So at this particular moment, we are in that state of mind where we want to understand Bhagavad-Gita. So somehow or other, we are in mode of goodness. After we discuss Bhagavad-Gita, we will start thinking about what job I have to do next, or different aspects, because we have to maintain our body as well. Sharira yatrapi chate na prasiddhyet akarmana. So Krishna actually mentions in Bhagavad-Gita that to maintain the body, one has to do work. It is not possible to not do any work. Na niragnir na cha kriya. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti ya sa sannyasi sa yogi cha. Krishna says that actually who is a renunciant person? Who is an actual person who is connected with me? Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti ya. Someone who does karyam, all kinds of work, karma karoti ya. How does that person do the work? Anashrita karma phalam. Without being dependent on the fruits coming out of those activities. I just do the activities because I want to do the activities. Because in the material world, I cannot remain without doing any activities. I cannot maintain myself. To maintain myself, I have to do activities. So when we are in that state of existence where we know that that this body is performing activities under the influence of the modes of material nature, and me as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna, I'm eternally connected with Krishna. I'm never born, I never die. But this is something that is an instrument that the Lord has given at this particular moment, and I have to use this instrument in the service of the Lord. So through my activities, there is this beautiful prayer. Kayena vacha manisendriyarva. Kayena vacha. Kaya means through the body. Vacha means through the speech. Manasendriyarva. Whatever I think. Buddhyatmanava. Whatever I do through my intelligence or whatever I do through my consciousness. Prakrite swabhava. Whatever Prakriti swabhava means, because I got this particular body and particular mind, I got some swabhava. I got some kind of habits. So whatever habits I have, Prakriti swabhava, karomi yadyat. Whatever I do, sakalam parasmai. All the activities that I do, Narayana iti samarpayami. I offer this as a loving offering to Sri Narayana, Sri Krishna. So when one is in that state of existence, then one is liberated. Even while being in this particular body, maybe suffering in this particular body as well, because suffering, when the body is there, some kind of suffering has to take place. It is that is the nature of this material world. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita that this material existence is unfortunately an abode of misery, and it is temporary. That's the interesting thing here, right? So someone might say it is dukkhalayam, means you are pessimistic. You're saying that this world has got sorrow. Why are you being so pessimistic? Immediately there is the next word, ashashvatam. It is impermanent as well, right? So even though it has sorrow, but it is not permanent. Neither the so-called sorrow is permanent, nor the so-called happiness is permanent. What is permanent is we as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. And every living entity in this whole universe, sarva yonusha konteya murteya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradapita. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, all kinds of living entities in this whole universe, the material nature is the mother, and I am the seed-giving father. So in that sense, we have connection with all living entities in this whole universe, because it is based on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and the material energy that is working under Maya Dhakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetu Nanena Kaunteya Jagad Viparivartate. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that under my direction, this material nature is working in wonderful ways. Like, for example, there is so much order. You got a day, immediately when day has to end, night has to come, days has to go. You got the cycle of the moon cycles, the sun cycle, the months, the year, the seasons, depending on. So everything is going on in order. So under whose? Maya Dakshena Prakriti. Krishna says, under my direction, this material nature is creating these multifarious creations. Swate Sacharacharam. Chara and Achara. Chara is the living entities that move, and Achara is the living entities that don't move. For example, the trees and grass and they are all. It's unbelievable. The amazing creation that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has created, so every moment one can remember the Lord, and when we are in that state of mind, vivruddham sattvam iti uta. So Krishna says that then the mode of goodness is increasing when we are in that state of mind, when we are satisfied, when we are peaceful, when we know that I'm doing this activity as an offering of love to Krishna, and I'm not dependent on the results of this activity. Sometimes it might be what I expect. Sometimes it might be what I don't expect. But I'm offering everything as a loving service to Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is mode of goodness. So now we go to the verse 12. Lobha pravrittir arambha.
लोभ प्रवृत्तिर आरंभ
Karmanam ashamah spruha.
कर्मणाम असम स्पृहा
Rajasi etani jayante.
रजसे त्यानि जायन्ते
Vivruddhe bharatarshava.
विवृद्धे भरतर्षम शभ.
So word by word, lobha,
लोभ,
greed,
greed,
pravrittihi,
प्रवृत्तिः,
activity,
activity,
arambha,
आरंभः,
endeavor,
endeavor,
karmanam,
कर्मणाम,
inactivities,
inactivities,
ashamaha,
असमः,
uncontrollable,
uncontrollable,
spruha,
स्पृहा,
Spruha,
desire,
desire,
rajasi,
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 of the mode of passion,
of the mode
now the
of
mode of
passion,
passion.
etani,
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 all these,
all these,
all the
jayante,
jayante,
yeah,
develop,
develop,
develop.
vivruddhe,
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 when there is an excess,
when there is an excess.
Bharatarshabha,
Bharatarshabha,
O chief
O chief
chief
of the descendants
of descendants
of the
of Bharata.
of Bharata.
Bharata.
So here, Vivarid Rajasi etani jayante. So if we look at the third line, how does the mode of passion develop? How does it take birth? Jayante is taking birth. And so how does it happen? Vivruddhe. When there is increase of what? Lobha pravritir arambha. When there is increase of lobha, which is greed, pravritti, which is activity, and arambha, which is translated as endeavor. So that is mode of passion. So mode of passion is based on me identifying myself very strongly with my body. So when I identify myself like that, body and mind, then there is comparison also that happens. That I see something, some object, and then when I see that object, there is a desire that comes in my mind that I also want this object. so basically, and that desire becomes so strong that I want that object at any cost. That is lobha, that is greed. So this is how this whole universe is functioning actually. Yeah. So if there is no mode of passion, if there is no rajo guna, then there is no then there will be no pravritti, pravritti, the activities. If there is only say imagine a world where there is only mode of goodness, then basically what is going to happen is everyone is satisfied and peaceful, and everyone is doing their work. Everyone is in a state of bliss, irrespective of what is happening externally. That is an amazing situation to be in, but that doesn't happen. So it's a combination. So we get a little bit of goodness sometimes. Most of the times we have got passion, and a little bit most of the times as well we have got ignorance. Goodness just comes a little bit and then it goes off. You can take an example of being in a seashore and in a tatastha. There is a word as well. It's called tatastha shakti. We are actually tatastha shakti. Tatastha means marginal energy. So there is antaranga shakti, bahiranga shakti, and tatastha shakti. The internal energy of Krishna, external energy of Krishna, and the marginal potency of Krishna. So we as an eternal, as living entities in this material world, are a combination of internal energy and external energy of Krishna. That's why it's called tatastha shakti, the marginal. How internally, as the proprietor of this body, I am fully internal energy of Krishna, antaranga shakti. Externally, as this body and the mind and intelligence and false ego, I am bahiranga shakti. I got the external energy of Krishna. So generally, what is happening is most of the time, see, this is very rare. Like the discussions that we are having, it is not Manushyanam sahasreshu kasyat etati siddhayat yatatam api siddhanam kasyan mam veti tatvata. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad-Gita, there are billions and billions of people. Very few among them try to attain perfection. And even among the people who try to attain perfection, very few know me as I am, Krishna says. So it is very rare. Sudurlabha, it is called. It is costless mercy of the Lord that somehow or other we have this inclination to know our original nature, because it doesn't, like if you look at a normal worldly scenario, the whole existence is based on body and mind. I totally ignore consciousness, but actually consciousness is the basis of everything else. But I ignore it because, see, an interesting example we can take, like for example, oxygen is available in air now, and therefore we don't care about oxygen. Imagine a situation where suddenly the oxygen is taken out, and then we are struggling to breathe. then we realize, oh, this was the most important thing. This was because of which I am alive. Then we realize the importance. Now, the thing about consciousness is that to understand consciousness, I need to have some uh, a speck of false ego. Uh, because what is happening is the speck of false ego is what is connecting my unborn consciousness, which never dies, with this particular body. So that is called ahankara. That is the subtlest of the. It's very subtle. That is why indriyani paranyo abhur indriyabhya param mana yo manasasto paro buddhe yo buddhe paratastu sa. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that the senses are very strong. Indriyani parani ahur, but more stronger than the senses is mind. Indriyabhya param mana. Then Krishna says yo manasasto paro buddhe. The intelligence is stronger than the mind. Yo buddhe paratastu saha. And even stronger than the intelligence is, so there are two concepts here. One is this false ego concept, which is connecting me as an unborn entity to this particular body. That is one. And the other, the subtlest of the subtle is we, like as someone who are never born and who never die. That is the subtlest of the subtle. As aham atma guda kesha sarva bhuta shayastita aham adishcha madhyam cha bhutanam antam eva cha. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that he is atma as well. Atma is his internal potency. This we as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna are the internal potency of Krishna. So Krishna says, I am that as well in the form of his energy. Aham atma guda kesha, and through as consciousness he is there. Jivanam sarva bhuteshu. Krishna says that. It's interesting, Krishna says that I am the life of all the living entities. And then Krishna also says, Mrityu sarva haraschaham. I come as death and I take away everything from the person. So everything. So this is the wonderful nature of understanding Bhagavad Gita, that once we get into the depths of Bhagavad Gita, we will know that there is no place where one is separate from Krishna. We are connected with Krishna in the form of his energy everywhere. But this particular verse is talking about mode of passion, where mode of passion comes in because there is lobha, pravrittir, and arambha. So there is greed, there is activity, and there is a lot of endeavor. So it's the endeavors. So basically, if the endeavor is done with an intention of accumulating lots and lots of things for my sense gratification, then that is mode of passion. But if an endeavor is done just because I want to do that endeavor, because to maintain my body, I have to do some kind of endeavor, and I leave the result at the lotus feet of the Lord without being totally bothered about what it is going to be, then that particular activity will be in mode of goodness. So even the different activities, depending on what our intention is for that activity, becomes mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So Krishna will explain those aspects as well in detail in the later verses of this chapter. But this is interesting here. So basically, Srila Prabhupada actually translates as well. See, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. So this is it's kind of this is the mode of passion, means there is uncontrollable hankering and desire. Therefore, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. When we are in a state of understanding that I am an eternal part and parcel of Krishna, then there is no kankshati and shochati. Kankshati means hankering. Shochati means lamenting. Because if I think I am this body has got lots and lots of demands. The mind has got, I in this particular body am comparing myself with others. And the moment I see any object, I want that object because I like that object. So to get that object, I am, I have that hankering. So I hanker a lot. I might get that object or I might not get the object. If I get the object, I'll be happy for how long? Adyanta vanta kaunteya, Krishna says. So this is what it has got, a beginning and an end. I might be happy for some time, then another hankering will develop. If I don't get what I hanker for, I'll be shochati. I'll be in a state of lamentation. Oh, I did not get this. So this is mode of passion, and that is constantly hankering and lamentation. The cycle, it's like an endless cycle of hankering and lamentation. That is mode of passion. Next, we go into verse 13. Aprakasho apravritischa
Aprakasho apravritischa
pramado moha evacha
pramado mo evacha
tamasi etani jayante
tamasi etani jayante
vivruddhe kurunandana.
vivriddhe kurunandana.
So word by word, aprakashah,
Aprakashah,
darkness,
darkness.
apravrittihi,
Apravrittihi,
inactivity,
inactivity.
cha,
Cha
and
and
pramadah,
pramadah,
Pramada.
madness,
madness.
Madness.
moha,
Moha,
illusion,
illusion.
eva,
Eva,
Eva.
certainly,
certainly.
Suddenly.
cha,
Sa,
Cha.
cha,
also,
also.
tamasi,
Tamasi,
Tamasi.
the mode of ignorance,
the
The
mode of
mode of
ignorance.
ignorance.
etani,
Etani,
these,
these.
jayante,
Jayante
are manifested,
are manifested.
vivruddhe,
Vivriddhe,
when developed,
when developed.
kurunandana,
Kurunandana,
O son of Kuru.
O son of Kuru.
So translation, when there is an increase
When there is an increase
in the mode of ignorance,
in the mode of ignorance,
O son of Kuru,
O son of
O
Kuru,
son of Kuru,
darkness,
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 inertia,
inertia,
madness,
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 and illusion
and
and
illusion
illusion
are manifested.
are
are
manifested.
manifested.
So here, tamasi etani jayante. So how does, what are the conditions in which the mode of ignorance takes birth? The aprakasho apravritischa pramado moha evacha. Four kinds of four kinds of symptoms of mode of ignorance. Aprakasha is darkness. So in the mode of goodness, there was prakasha. There was illumination. And that illumination helped me to understand that that this is an instrument. And I have to use this as in service of the Lord. Then you got the mode of passion, where there is lots and lots of endeavors, there is hankering and lamentation. Because so basically, mode of passion, the basic symptom of mode of passion is hyperactivity. Like that constantly I want to do something, constantly I want to get something, constantly I want to earn money, I want to enjoy my senses. So lots of activity. That is mode of passion. Now, mode of ignorance is apravritti. It is kind of opposite of mode of passion in that sense. So in mode of passion, there is a pravritti. There is lots of activity. In mode of ignorance, there is apravritti. There is no inactivity. That means laziness. One does not want to do anything. Even if there is a lot of reasons for someone to do activities, because if one is in mode of ignorance, they will not have that impetus. They will not have that that enthusiasm to do any activity. They will just enjoy doing nothing. There is an interesting see. It's a very, it's like a paradox, or it's a conundrum. Like if you look at someone who is in mode of ignorance, they are apravritti. They're not doing any activity because they're lazy. If you look at someone who is mode of goodness, they are totally satisfied. They know that they are eternal part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore they also will not have much impetus to do the activities like someone in a mode of passion. But their not having impetus to do the activities is not based on laziness. It is based on knowledge. It is based on the knowledge that one knows that satisfaction is ever existing, that peace is ever existing. It is not dependent on me trying to attain lots and lots of things. So they are very clear about that. I think that is so it's really interesting, all these, how these modes have an effect on us. So there is aprakasha, which is darkness, that means inertia, apravritti, inactivity, then pramada and moha. The two words used, pramada, Srila Prabhupada translates as madness. So what does this madness mean? It means that, say, for example, someone is unfortunately in a state of intoxication. That is pramada, prakrishta rupena mada. So one is intoxicated in that sense. So what happens when one is intoxicated? They behave madly. They don't behave like a normal person. So that is another symptom of mode of ignorance. When one is lazy, one is in a state of intoxication through some way. Moha is illusion. The illusion here is considering, say, like I have said this before in our previous discussions. Like sometimes when you ask some people what are their hobbies, some people might say that my hobby is to sleep, because and it's kind of a little bit mind-boggling when you hear that. But you can actually understand that this person is predominantly in mode of ignorance. But we are not going to judge anyone in that sense, because at the end of the day, everyone is a part and parcel of Krishna. So from that perspective, we don't need to judge anyone. But it is interesting observation that we can take, that if someone says that, I get a lot of happiness out of sleeping lots and lots of hours, that means it's an illusory kind of situation, strongly embedded within the illusion. So that is what is moha. And of course, the moha is also not understanding what is the right thing to do in a particular, doing the opposite of what is right. Say, for example, someone is very egoistic person. They might actually say harsh words to others because they are not able to control their own emotions. So that is unfortunately combination of mode of passion and mode of ignorance. So this happens, because we have got this particular body, swabhava, swabhava parijayate. Krishna says, so whatever body I have got, I have a combination of modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance in me, and that is constantly having a force on me, and basing on that, the actions take place through my body. So this is what that's why Krishna says, Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. Ya pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sa pashyati. Very beautiful verse. Krishna says that all the activities are being done because of the modes of material nature. And one who sees that ya pashyati tatha atmanam akartaram, one who sees that me as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna am not doing anything. So what are we doing? The only thing that we as part and parcel of Krishna are doing is just being absorbed in Krishna's pastimes. That's the only thing that originally everyone is doing, that the only thing. Otherwise, everything else is the modes of material nature acting on this particular body, and this body accordingly doing lots and lots of actions. So here, this particular verse very clearly talking about mode of ignorance. Then verse 14, yada satve pravriddhe tu
Yada satve pravruddhe tu
pralayam yati deha bhrit
pralayam yati dehabhrit
tadottama vidam lokan
tadottama vidan lokan
amalan pratipadyate.
amalan pratipadyate.
Word by word, yada,
Yada,
when,
when,
satve,
satve,
the mode of goodness,
the mode of goodness,
pravriddhe,
pravriddhe,
developed,
developed,
tu,
tu,
but,
but,
pralayam,
pralayam,
dissolution,
dissolution,
Yati,
Yati,
goes.
goes.
Dehabhrit,
Dehabhrit,
the embodied.
the embodied.
Tada,
Tada,
at that time.
at that time.
Uttama Vidam,
Uttama Vidam,
of the great sages.
of the great sages.
Lokan,
Lokan,
the planets.
the planets.
Amalan,
Amalan,
pure.
pure.
Pratipadyate,
Pratipradyate,
attains.
attains.
Translation: when one dies
When one dies
in the mode of goodness,
in the mode of goodness,
he attains
he attains
to the pure higher planets
to the pure higher planets
of the great sages.
of the great sages.
So here Krishna is explaining about the predominance of a particular mode. So it's not that we have talked about this Vishuddha Sattva. There is something called Vishuddha Sattva, which is purified mode of goodness. That Vishuddha Sattva is Vasudeva Shabditam. That is where Krishna consciousness is purely present in Vishuddha Sattva. But that is so to reach that level, one has to predominantly be in Sattva, in mode of goodness. So here Krishna says that Yada Sattva Pravriddetu Pralayam Yati Dehabhrit. So Dehabhrit, the one who has got this body. So when one, so who has got the body? It's an interesting question, you know. Sometimes people might say that it's a consciousness which is having the body, like the soul. But interestingly enough, the soul is actually totally detached from everything else. Who is having the body is the living entity, who is possessing this body, pralayam, at the time of death. Yada Sattve Pravridetu. And at the time of death, they have Pravriddha. They have an increased, like predominantly they are in the mode of goodness. Tadottama Vidam Lokan. They attain the higher planetary systems. Urdhvam Gachanti Sattvastha. We have discussed this in the in the last verse, in the last week's discussion. There Krishna talks about that. So basically, who are in the mode of goodness, they go into the higher planetary system. The mode of passion, they remain in the middle planetary system. Mode of ignorance, they go into the lower planetary system. So here Krishna very clearly, Amalan Pratipadyate. Amala is a very beautiful word. Mala means impurity. Amala means without any impurity. So they go on to the higher planetary systems where which is pure, where there is not much impurity. Tadottama Vidan Lokan. And that is a planets of great sages. So because one cultivated predominantly mode of goodness, at the time of leaving this body, that mode will be easy to attain. And then when one is in that mode, one goes into the higher planetary system. But the interesting thing here is, once that Kshine Punya Marti Lokam Vishanti, once the good pious credits get exhausted, one comes back into the middle planetary system. So it's like a continuous Brahmanda Brahmite. There is unfortunately a cycle of birth and death. So unless one is in pure Krishna consciousness, this cycle of birth and death unfortunately continues. But when one is Janma Karmam Cha Me Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tatvata, when one fully in experiential way knows that Krishna's Janma and Karma, his birth and his activities are Divya, divine. Tyaktva Deham Punarjanmam Naiti. Krishna says that after giving up this body, one does not get another material body. Then what happens to such a person? Mameti so Arjuna. And Krishna says that such a person comes back to me, back home, back to Godhead. But this is a very important part of going back home, back to Godhead, if one can predominantly be in mode of goodness. So that is what Krishna mentions in this verse. And then the last verse that we are discussing, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yes, this is the last one. Rajasi pralayam gatva.
Rajasi pralayam gatva.
Karma sangishu jayate.
कर्मसङ्गीषु जायते
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि
तथा प्रलीनत्समसि
मूढयोनिषु जायते.
मूढयोनिषु जायते
So word by word, rajasi
रजसि
in passion,
in passion,
pralayam
pralayam
dissolution,
dissolution,
gatva
gatva
attaining,
attaining,
karma sangishu
karmasangishu
in the association
in the association
of those
of those
engaged in
engaged in
fruitive activities.
fruitive activities.
Jayate
Jayate
takes birth.
takes birth.
Tatha
Tatha
similarly.
similarly.
Pralinaha
Pralinaha
being dissolved.
being dissolved.
Tamasi
Tamasi
in ignorance.
in ignorance.
Moodha yonishu
Mudhayonishu
in animal species.
in animal species.
Jayate
Jayate
takes birth.
takes birth.
Translation: when one dies
When one dies
in the mode of passion,
in the mode of passion,
he takes birth
he takes birth
among those
among those
engaged in
engaged in
fruitive activities.
fruitive activities.
And when one dies
And when one dies
in the mode of ignorance,
in the mode of ignorance,
he takes birth
he takes birth
in the animal kingdom.
in the animal kingdom.
So here Krishna, right? So in the previous verse, Krishna was mentioning about someone in the predominantly in mode of goodness, leaving the body in mode of goodness, going into the higher planetary system. Someone predominantly in mode of passion are remaining in the middle planetary system, and someone predominantly in the mode of ignorance, they're going into the lower planetary system, or even if they are staying in the middle planetary system, they are getting the body of lower species who do not have evolved intelligence as human beings. So someone who is predominantly a combination of mode of goodness and mode of passion, they have this blessing to continue in the human birth. And human birth, durlabham manusham janmam. It is mentioned. Srila Prahlad Maharaj mentions kaumaram acharet prajna. Prahlad Maharaj says that prajna, this understanding of Krishna consciousness, of me, who is eternal, who is never born, who never dies. That understanding should take place from childhood itself. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says. Kaumaram is Kaumaram, Yavanam, Jara. So childhood, youth, and old age. So Kaumaram, Macharet, Prajna. Dharman, Bhagavatan, Iha. So what kind of prajna, what kind of knowledge? Bhagavata Dharma. This understanding of Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead, and how everything is his internal, external, and marginal energies. This is Dharman, Bhagavatan, Iha. Why one should start from childhood? Durlabham manusham janmam. Because this human form of life is very rarely attained. Tadapi adhruvam arthadam. Even though it is very rarely attained, it is adhruva. That means it is not permanent, it is temporary. And it is arthada. Arthada means invaluable. There is no, it's kind of unfortunate. Sometimes some incident happens, someone is due to accident or something, someone is dying, and the government announces that the kith and kin of this is going to get this much money. But can that money, it's a consolation thing, but there is no value to this form, right? It is invaluable. You cannot, there is so, and what to speak of this particular, this is like, because intelligence and all is evolved, it has got a special significance. But even if we look at any living entity, it is kind of amazing, the creation of Krishna. That each and every living entity are have got their own unique existence and their own the reason why someone, like we'll just talk about Bharat Maharaj story and then conclude. There's an interesting story of Bharat Maharaj, and he was He was the emperor of the whole universe at the time, and he was a pure Krishna conscious person. And panchas. So he was following this varnashrama dharma, right? Brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. In the end, he is renouncing everything, and he is totally concentrating in Krishna consciousness. He's gone to the forest. What happens in the forest is uh, he sees one fawn, a child of a deer, because that somehow that fawn does not have its parents. It loses its parents. And the Bharat Maharaj, compassionate, the devotees are by nature compassionate. Due to his compassion, he starts taking care of the fawn. He becomes so attached with fawn that at the time of death, he's remembering the deer. And antakale cha mameva, yamyam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati ante kaleram, tam tam ivate kauntaya sada tad bhav bhavita. Krishna says, whatever one remembers at the time of death, that one attains in the next life. So unfortunately for Bharat Maharaj, he was actually in a stage of bhava. Bhava is just a stage before prema. So you got 9 different stages. You got Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prema. So there are 9 different stages in terms of spiritual evolution. Prema is when one is totally absorbed in pure love of Krishna. So he was just one. He was the 8th stage. 9 stages Prema, and he got attached to deer. He became deer in the next life. It's kind of amazing, but he did not lose his level of Krishna consciousness. So he was, even in the body of deer, he was going to the hermitage where the discussions about the Lord was taking place. He was keeping his association, and in the third life, he understood the significance. He actually got born as human again, but in that life, he understood that I should not get attached to anything. So he actually behaved like a little bit like a mad person, so that he doesn't get attached. And the third life, he actually got into the pure love of Krishna and back home, back to Godhead. So it's really interesting the effect that this situation in the material world has on us. Like even someone who's in a stage of bhava can unfortunately get attached, and then it becomes a little bit of a challenging situation. So with that, thank you very much for listening. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
all glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Krishne Matirastu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So if there is any comments or questions, we can discuss. Otherwise, we can sing the Nrsimhadev Pranam Mantra.
Prabhu, I know we are getting late, but I'll just keep it short, okay? And I think just like a few things I'll ask you offline as well, but I think the one that popped in my mind right away was when you, so obviously we've been saying that we're not the body, we're the soul, right? And then today you just said that um like soul is kind of like very separate to what we are doing in the material world, right? So how do you, like, if you have to put an entity in between, right? Let's say the body and the soul, and then we have the ahamkara that is doing. So can you then say that people are mainly like ahamkara, or like how would you define that, differentiation? So who's doing, like, for example, if someone is, we talk about prarabdha, then we talk about, so is the prarabdha then getting attached to the soul because of the actions of the body in the mode of passion, or sorry, in the mode of material world, or how would you, segment these three entities?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's very it's amazing, the way this whole situation is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, see, every living entity in this whole universe, in essence, are in a state of are liberated, literally. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabo Noy. It is mentioned in Charitamrita that this love for Krishna, it's not something external. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karaya Uday. And when we hear with pure mind, pure heart, automatically we will know that we were always Krishna conscious. So basically, the whole concept of spiritual evolution is removing what I am not, because what I am always that.
Correct.
That is what is Tattvamasi. There is this Veda Vakya. Thou art that. So basically, the whole that's why it's called self-realization. It's not that I'm going outside and accumulating anything. No, it is removing all the layers that I have, and then finally I know that
Yeah.
I'm ever liberated in that sense. So basically, it's so the whole existence in this material world is taking off that false ego. But when a time comes when I have no trace of false ego, then I will know that I was always liberated. All this thing that was happening it's like a beautiful example is given, when something happens in the dream, right? Like in a dream, a lion is coming and, like in front of me, and I'm running away from the lion. At that particular moment in that dream, it is real for me. The moment I wake up from my dream, I know that it was dream and I'm not affected anyway. This whole material existence is like that. It's the ignorance, darkness of ignorance is causing me to get attached to this external thing that I have. And once that ignorance is removed, this ajnanta is removed, then we know that this was all phantasmagoria in a sense. So it's kind of amazing knowledge as well, because when we have this knowledge and when we can get absorbed in this knowledge, nothing is going to affect us. That's why Krishna says, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. There is an interesting question. Arjun asks, to Krishna. He says that what happens to a person who goes in this spiritual direction, and because they are very strongly going in this direction, they might lose interest in material activities. So they are neither materially good and they did not progress totally in the spiritual direction. They are not spiritually good. Aren't they in a very bad situation? Krishna says, no, there is no loss or diminution in this path. Na iha abhikrama nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Krishna says, even a small step in this direction saves one from greatest dangers. Because what is the greatest danger? Death. Like if I'm very much attached to my body, when the moment of death comes, I will say that I don't want to die now. I want to do one or two more things. So then, but if I have spiritual knowledge, then I know that this is an instrument, and this instrument will be available until the Lord wants me to have this instrument. Once the time for this instrument is over, it's up to the Lord. Let him take the instrument back to him. So one becomes very. It's a very wonderful situation to be in.
Yeah, it's a bit like careless, but it's also like careless in a different way.
Absolutely, yes. Like if you look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for example, he was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. So, but he was coming in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and he was like, totally oblivious of all the external things. He was totally absorbed in Krishna consciousness. That is a goal of human form of life. Of course, it should not be imitated. It's not imitation. It's naturally one goes into that position. But this is the problem, if I am thinking that I am this body, and the people related to this body are mine, then that is, then I'm quite far away from actual spiritual understanding.
Yeah. So like obviously to then rephrase it, obviously like we are not the body, we are the soul, but then there's obviously a lot of false ego and all the other like sense gratifications happening because of that, you're kind of like in a way collecting karma in different
Yes. Yeah.
ways, and then that karma is obviously getting attached to your soul because of your prakriti, or because of whatever like you're doing, right? And hence that is, in a way, the idea is to just start dissecting, all these material, activities, to a point that you realize that it's kind of like just a bit senseless, and then you are the soul eventually, right? So it's essentially your journey to find the soul by understanding that all of this is illusion and this is not important.
Yeah. Yeah, this illusion word is quite interesting here as well. It is, so we call it relative reality. So
Mm.
you got an absolute reality and you got a relative reality. So absolute reality is consciousness, which is never born, which never dies. Relative reality is something that depends on consciousness, right? So, for example, this body, the value of this body is only present when I have consciousness in my body. The
Hmm.
moment the consciousness goes out of my body will start decomposing. It has no value. So that is the understanding. That we are that this is relative reality. So what happens is, if I don't go in the direction of knowing Bhagavad-Gita and the knowledge that is there in Bhagavad-Gita, uh, the only thing that I'll think about is that this is me, I have this body, I have to enjoy my senses as much as
Right.
possible. All these people are my people, and then there's so much attachment. It becomes a very difficult life. Like if any kind of anything is, it's like, I'm in a car and I think that I'm the car. It's exactly the same thing. So if anything happens to the car, it happens to me. So it's that if we
Like
don't have this knowledge.
it's
Yeah,
essentially, obviously you need the body to do actions, right? And then, but I think it's if I'm getting it right, it's the understanding that obviously this body is it's given to you to do those actions, but then those actions, if they fall under, Krishna, like, the consciousness of Krishna and his approvals, then, you're sort of in the right track. But if you get this body and you end up doing all the nonsense, then essentially, you know, that has its outcomes. And then again,
exactly.
so the body is essentially is the vehicle, as you said, right? It's not
Yes,
like you're not the vehicle, you're you're the driver, essentially.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
hard,
That that
it's
that, that
obviously so easy, but it's so hard, So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See, but there are different ways, right? One is theoretically understanding,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, if you look at the general populace, very few would have this inclination to understand this. It is kind of unfortunate, but that is why there is costless mercy of the Lord on us. Because we have this inclination to know this knowledge. It is to understand this knowledge. Um, so that is the first step. First step is theoretically understanding. The second step is practically being situated in that.
Hmm.
And practically being situated is not that difficult, because uh, see the aspect that we discussed about Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti, right?
Hmm.
Waking state, deep dream state, and deep sleep state. I know that I had a nice deep sleep when I wake up, or if I did not have a deep sleep, I still know that. How do I know that?
Hmm.
Because that consciousness was the Turiya state was there as a fundamental existence behind all the states. That's why I know that, and that I am. So practically you can understand this. It is very logical,
Yeah.
but 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 if people do not have the shraddha, the faith, they won't understand. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Krishna says in Bhagavad
Hmm.
Gita. When one has the faith, one actually gets the spiritual knowledge.
Hmm.
Otherwise, unfortunately, even though these are very logical topics, people will not be able to understand it. It's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Prabhu, no. Thanks very much. Hare Krishna,
Thank you
Prabhu.
very
Yeah,
much. Thank
yeah,
you.
makes
So
sense.
we'll sing the Narasimha Pranam mantra, and then we can stop the session. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
प्रहलाद लाद दायिने
प्रह्लाद लाद दायिने
दायिने
हिरण्यकशिपुर्वक्षः
हिरण्यकशिपो वृक्षः
काशीपूर्वः
तिलतन्कानकालये
शिलटङ्कानखालाये
एतो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो
इतो
इतो
नृसिंह
नरसिंहो
परतो
परतो
नृसिंह
नरसिंहो
यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहो
यतो
येतो
यतो
येतो
यामि
यामि ततो
ततो
नरसिंहो
नृसिंह
बहिर्नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
बहिर्नरसिंहो
बहिर्नृसिंह
हृदये
हृदये
नरसिंहो
नृसिंह
नरसिंहमादिं शरणं प्रपद्ये
नरसिंहमदिं
नरसिंहमदिं
शरणं
शरणं
प्रपद्ये
प्रपद्ये
तव करकमलवरेणकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्ग दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्ग केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
तव करकमलवरेणखाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गाम् ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गाम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि
जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि
जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद
जय प्रह्लाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रह्लाद जय प्रह्लाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रह्लाद
हरि बोल हरि
हरि
बोल
बोल
हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल नित्य
निताय गौर
गौरा
हरि
हरि
बोल
बोल
हरि बोल हरि
हरि
बोल
बोल
नित्य
नित्य
गौर
गौरा
हरि
हरि
बोल
बोल नरसिंहदेव भगवान की
जय
प्रहलाद महाराज की
जय
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु कृष्णे मतिरस्तु हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
थैंक यू वेरी मच
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु हरे कृष्ण माता जी
थैंक्स लॉट
हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण